Hi, my name is Sawbug, and I've been animating for a while now, but I've never actually made a storytime animation. Which is what this video is about. My very first storytime animation. And since this is my very first storytime animation, I thought it'd only be right to tell the story of how I came to love 2D animation. Now, I've been animating for as long as I remember, and by animating, I mean stop motion animation. I remember back when I was younger, every time I'd finish school for the day, I'd go up to my mom and ask her if I could do some animation on my snazzy Samsung Galaxy Tab A. It's not snazzy, it's ancient history at this point. I still have it, but I never used it because of how old and slow it is. Besides, I prefer Apple over Samsung anyways. But even though it's as old as the Great Pyramids of Giza, I don't think I'll ever get rid of it because it was my very first tablet and very first source of animation. A couple years after I learned stop motion animation, I found myself interested in 2D animation on Flip-a-Clip. I remember one long drive from my home to Waco, I absolutely locked in on animating a ball bounce around on two lines. Fast forward a couple months, I entirely lost interest in 2D animation and went straight back to stop motion animation. But little did 8-year-old me know that the opposite would happen when he turned 12. But before we get to that, we have to get to chapter 3 of this journey. When I was 10, maybe 9, I discovered something that would cause me so much frustration: 3D animation, aka Blender. The second I opened up Blender, I watched a tutorial on how to make a human model and I failed miserably. Yeah, I don't know what made me think that 3D modeling would be easy. I soon learned to slow down with 3D modeling and eventually learned 3D animation. And I still mess around with 3D modeling and 3D animation, and I enjoy it too. I then got an app called Procreate, which leads us to... I got Procreate just because it helped with drawing cool stuff. Then I learned you could do 2D animation on it, and I made my very first 2D animation on Procreate, and I loved it. One day, me and my brother were sitting on the couch, and he suggested that we each make a little animation with a unique character. And that's when my character was born. I made an animation with him and sent it to my friend Ryan, and he suggested that I post it on YouTube. I was skeptical at first, but I agreed, assuming it wouldn't perform well. It performed well. I made another to make sure it wasn't some dumb luck, and it performed nearly 12 times better than the first one. And ever since then, 2D animation has become one of my favorite hobbies, and I'll always enjoy watching Garret the Carrot and Ice Cream Sandwich for my inspiration. Thank you guys for watching my very first storytime animation. I hope you enjoyed because I plan on making more in the future. But anyways, guess I'll see you in the next one.